تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیزرایز.
So guys, I have a very special module for you. I am sat today with Maggie, who is actually my meditation coach. Now, you know the whole point of Kaizen Cure is kind of bringing the two worlds together, the inner and the outer, and there's a very, very strong emphasis on what is going on in here will manifest in the outer world. And it was funny, we were actually just discussing two quite high-profile suicides that happened recently, and how that is just genuinely such a testament to if you don't get what's sorted on, if you don't get this handled, you know, what's going on in here, then honestly, it doesn't matter what, first of all, it doesn't matter what outside success you're going to have. And most of the time, you're not even going to get to the point where you have that outside success because it's just, there's an incongruence there. So I wanted to bring you on, especially for meditation. I mean, we could probably ramble on for hours and hours about, you know, inner transformations that they can make. First of all, you know, just thought I'd ask, what's your opinion about these two high-profile suicides that have gone on, and what do you think that means for more general society and the way it's going?
I think they will be they are a wake-up call that outer successes, physical manifestations, are not don't bring us true happiness. So no matter what we achieve on the outside, if we don't look after our hearts and minds, it's almost pointless. And it's very sad. It shouldn't happen. It doesn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, for the people watching this that are very like, most of the people watching this are very like incredible people, but usually just business has made them very, very like kind of dense. And I know what that's like. You're focusing on your business. You have so much stuff thrown in your face and thrown your way that like you have to be very just resilient and gritty and all that stuff. But can you kind of touch on, do you think, like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs get this sort of false belief that like I have to be super aggressive and gritty and all that stuff to accomplish something. And if I kind of, you know, for example, say have a disattachment from the outcome, or if I'm more calm and peaceful, that they'll lose that, like, kind of, any opinion on that?
I would say that that's old paradigm. It's, if I'm frank, it's old-fashioned. We're changing as a society now and understanding that true success is about the marriage of balance. So while drive is important and focus definitely in business as is having goals, meditation or being meditative does not mean not having those things. It means that we also have the capacity to not worry, to not push too hard, and not to burn ourselves out. And what we find is that when there's more, for example, flex in our system, when we can let go, when we can maybe give an opportunity to somebody else if we can see that actually it would suit them better. If we can be kind, then what the people will find is that they have more opportunities coming to them and that actually they might work better. If we think of human beings as a car, for example, you know, you're talking about successful business people, they might be Porsches and, you know, other beautiful cars, Lamborghinis, whatever's cool these days, I don't know. And if you keep revving a car, if you keep pushing on the brake, what is even the most beautiful, sophisticated car, what is it going to do?
It'll give out.
Yes. So it's not smart to keep pushing. It is smart to also take time to, and this man has done this from the beginning, is to take time to rest, to rejuvenate, to charge your batteries, and then you'll wake up in the morning with a clearer mind, a much stronger ability to overcome your emotions, and generally be kinder.
So for someone that is, a few more questions, for someone that is like just heard about this meditation thing and they're like, okay, these guys are telling me to meditate, but do I just like sit and close my eyes? Like, for someone that is just super new to meditation, like what is it that we're trying to achieve? And that's a very big point there. Like, I'd said the word achieve, but that's not really what we're trying to do here. It's like such a juxtaposition from, you know, what you're trying to do with your business, like you're trying to achieve with meditate. It's like, so can you kind of give a breakdown of what meditation is and what the real outcome and goal of it is?
Yes. So the very highest outcome, I need to say, really is meeting the divine within us. That's very high. If we keep it plain and simple, it's about stilling our minds so that we're not overrun by too many thoughts and too many emotions. And finding peace. I mean, who in the world doesn't wish for peace?
تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیشتری. تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیشتری.
Peace. And actually not just the idea of it, but the actual full body mind experience of peace. I would like to demystify meditation, because I think some people might think that it's over there or something that people do in yoga pants or something, right? The actual truth is, when we meditate, it's about becoming who we really are. So everybody watching this was born meditative as a child. They were in the moment, looking around the room, disattached from things, having no expectations. So it isn't something that you aren't already. I need to say that. Don't think it's unattainable, because it's who you are when your mind's not full of thoughts, and when you stop trying so hard and you just relax and are contented in the moment without needing anything else. And can you imagine how powerful that is when you are literally sitting and you have no need of anything? That's just the most amazing feeling. So you asked me, how do we do it? So first of all, please, it's nothing outside of you, and it's nothing that you aren't already. The second thing is how to do it. It does help. Everybody's different. Please remember that. So find your own way. Some people, walking in nature calms them down. So you may begin by going to walk in nature and then spending 5 minutes on a bench just sitting still, closing your eyes. Or if you don't want to close your eyes, just spend 5 minutes actually observing your environment, the trees, the grass. Not being so much in your head, engaged through your senses. Others, you might wish to spend 10 minutes in your room, closing your eyes and having beautiful music with no lyrics. There are many, many ways. So go and experiment and find out what you like. If you are not enjoying something, don't give up. Go and try something else. Other people, the Sufis, other people dance into a state of meditation. Some people swim, that's not quite the same, but anything that relaxes you will help you find your groove into meditation.
So a couple of key things there. First of all, you talk about like when you come from that more resourceful place, you know, one of my favorite sayings is the hungry don't get fed. And that's all about like transitioning more to an abundance mindset. And I think you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Now, as I said, you're just going to be far more resourceful than the other person. Another thing is when you can quiet in your mind, then that kind of like you part the clouds, you like part everything away, and then you can see like what's actually important. And for example, first of all, what means something to you. So maybe everyone else is telling you what way to go with your business, and then you can part the clouds and you go, no, this is actually what I want for my business and my life. This is what I want for my business, and this will reflect my values and my morals and my ethics within my life. And also just like, we live in a world where either you use social media and social media uses you, and that's like probably one of the biggest things I see. Just people get absolutely lost, and especially because a lot of advice these days, it's like you need to be active on social media. All of you guys have something to do with marketing and social media, so you're bombarded with all of these notifications, messages from clients or messages from customers or whatever it may be. And the thing is, social media is using you. You're not using social media. And okay, so find the right meditative practice that works for you. So just try a bunch of different stuff.
Yes, and of course we're lucky there are apps now. Some people may suit app, like the biggest ones are Headspace and Calm and Buddyfy. YouTube, there are videos. Some people, you may even do it and you don't even know. Maybe you already spend 5 minutes on a bench, or you wake up and rather than jumping out of bed, you spend 5-10 minutes sitting, gathering your thoughts, hearing the birds outside, feeling the sheets on your skin, just being there and not zooming off into the future. And you, as you know, when we take time to gather and be present, because meditation is about being in the only place that we ever are, and I'd like you to think about that, the only place that we ever are, which is now. Now the mind, we have the dual nature of our mind, what I call the lower mind and the higher mind. So the lower mind is the one that judges and is fearful and is anxious. So the lower mind can jump between the past and the future. And if we're oscillating between the past and the future, we get stressed, and we also miss these signals, these intuitions that will tell us that's where your business needs to go. So when we quiet the mind in stillness and in meditation, we, as Iman was saying, we hear the things that we really need to hear. And that one intuition or that one idea that you are given could send your business to the next level through 5 minutes of sitting. But as you said before, the idea is not to sit so that you get the idea. The idea is to sit so that you relax. And then maybe you will be rewarded with an idea.
So one of the things, and this is something I really struggled with, a few little caveats here. Like, first of all, when I first started meditating, it was about like, okay, I need to achieve some state. Like I need to achieve the state where like I thought it was bad if I thought. I'm like, oh crap, I'm doing it wrong. And then I beat myself up and then I think more. You know, the whole point of it is when you're in the gym, you're like trying to press, you're trying to move forward, right? When you're in your business, you're trying to press, you're trying to move forward, you're trying to strive, you're trying to achieve. With meditation, it's about like completely letting go. And you have completely letting go of any self-judgment, completely letting go of any sort of sense of attachment to outcome. So it's just completely different to anything that you are ever used to. And one of the best things about meditation is I've always gotten my best ideas and the strongest sense of intuition in a meditation session. So I will be super still and peaceful. I'll be super into meditation session, and then suddenly something comes up and it's like, oh, okay, there we go. Like that's what I've been waiting for, and that's sort of that intuition that I've been needing for so long. Right. And it just came in my most still and quiet moments. Not when I'm like on my phone, or I'm like I've got some loud music on and I'm trying to like brainstorm and stuff like that, or like especially I find the funniest thing is like the brainstorm sessions. Whenever I have wherever I think I need a brainstorm session, nothing comes. Like nothing ever comes of a brainstorm session. It always comes to me when I least need it, and that's the thing you'll find with like intuition. It'll come to you when you least are looking for it. That's the thing you'll find with love. It'll come to you when you're least looking for it. That's the thing you'll actually find with success and money. No, it'll come to you when you least need it, or are when you aren't so like hungry and attached to the outcome. When you're still taking the necessary actions to get there, but it's like you've kind of let go of the outcome, and instead you're focusing on the actions instead. Now, one thing I really just want to say, just to kind of bring this home, is one of the reasons I actually brought on the help of Maggie is I got to a point where like my business was growing so quick, and just as my business was going through such an exponential growth curve, the similar sort of trend was like as my business went up, my happiness went down and down and down. So I am on the forefront. I have everything that anyone my age or anyone in general could ever wish for. You'd look at my life and it'll go, okay, that guy's life is perfect. But the reason, and it was one of the first things that we talked about when we started working together, the reason that I had such a issue was, say 2 years ago, I would spend maybe 1/3 of my time in the past reminiscing about like great memories that I experienced and stuff like that. And then I'd spend maybe 1/3 of my time in the present, just really, really enjoying it. And then 1/3 of my time strategizing about the future. Not to say that those are good ratios, but that's just kind of how it was. Then as my business kind of grew and stuff like that, 4 or 5 months ago, I was at a place where maybe I spent 5% in the past. I barely ever thought about what happened in the past. I spent maybe 10% in the present, and I spent 85% thinking about the future. What does the future hold for my business? You know, what if this thing happens? What does that mean? If this thing happens, if it falls into place, what does that mean for this thing? So I spent so much time thinking about the future that I couldn't even appreciate all the blessings that I had in the present. I wouldn't wish that feeling, and I wouldn't wish for that to happen to anyone. It is the most gut-wrenching feeling in the world, because you achieve everything that you want and you're still not happy.
And you don't enjoy it. What's the point?
You know, like, at least if you're not happy and you don't have the things that you want, at least in your brain you can trick yourself into believing that, like, okay, well, once I'm not happy because I don't have the things. But if you have the things and you're still miserable, that's the lowest low you can ever get. So the next thing that I kind of want to touch on is, we talked about like the open close in terms of my day. So for example, with me, one thing that would happen is I start my day off with meditation. That is amazing. That's perfect. Then I have all these hours of work and, you know, just very focused and logical. And then I'd spend the evening with a friend or my girlfriend or something. And it's like, it's so hard for me to get out of my head and just enjoy myself. And you'll see this with a lot of business owners. Like, they just can't laugh, and it's horrible. Like, why have all this success and money and accolades, but someone makes a joke and you can't even laugh. So can you basically just touch on what we decided would be a good way to sort of open and close the day, and nitty gritty of the technique as well?
So you mean how you start your day, and then the shorter one?
Meditation,
yes.
And then end it with a few
so
minutes.
Yes. So you choose your own time.
تهیه و تنظیم در استدیو بیزرایز.
Choose your own time. I would say if you want to see changes, then you need at least 10 every day, preferably twice a day. But in terms of Iman, so starting the day, sitting up comfortably. So it's important in meditation that the back is upright, unless you're doing a sleep one and it's fine to lie down. But sitting up, and you don't need to do anything other special other than sit up and be comfortable. Comfortable, very important. And then you would go through 3 points of the body. They use this technique in the American Army. So if your feet are on the ground, then you just spend a few minutes sensing the contact of the soles of your feet on the ground. You can do that now when you're listening. Spend a few moments or minutes there, just noticing the sensations, and doing your best to not follow any thought. Just let the thoughts come and go as you focus on the physical sensation. The physical, of course, the body is always in the here and now. This is why the body is so helpful in mindfulness. Then send the beam of your awareness upwards to the sit bones or the butt, if you're American, and hang around sensing what you sense in that part of the body, the enjoyment of the seat taking your body, that your body is still. And then when you're ready, I apologize for rushing this, but it's not actual meditation right now. And then the third point is noticing the sensation of contact between the back of the diaphragm with whatever you're leaning against. And again, looking for the enjoyment in that there's nothing you have to do to enjoy. That I can feel my back resting. And your mind might go, well, yeah, but, I need to do something. But you are actually giving it something to do. What you're telling it to do is stay with the sensations of your body. And that, you will find, it calms down the mind, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Because the body's in the present, and because you are starting to direct your mind to do something rather than it drag you off into the past or the future. So meditation is 100% an art and a science of self-mastery. Because if I told you to silence your mind right now or think only happy thoughts, could you do it? And if the answer is no, then, as my teacher would say, you have work to do on you. The end of the day, it can be shorter, or in the man's case, it's between the end of his working day and then the evening. Mm-hmm. So what can be nice is to spend literally a few minutes. I would definitely come back to the grounding again, because this is so good at calming the mind and calming the brainstem, the fight or flight part of the brain. 5 minutes sitting, closing your eyes, so come off all the screens. Sit, notice your breath, and spend some moments thinking and saying thank you in your mind to those who have assisted you today, those who have pushed you in a good way, the fact that you're still here, that maybe you have a nice meal coming. Just find 5 or 7 things that you can be grateful for. And hopefully you will feel with practice that just having those thoughts may start to loosen the diaphragm, relax the face, and maybe bring out this tension that you might feel here when you're pushing. How do you find that works for you, Iman?
It's incredible, especially as I said, just because for me, so my sort of structure is I meditate right before I get into my work blocks and my work, basically my work day, and I meditate for 10 minutes. Just because also I'm like so amped up and ready to go for the day, like I'm just so excited. But I meditate for 10 minutes using those 3 points. And then right towards the end of the day, one of the issues, as I said before, is I would end the day and then go into a social environment, and it's just like, it's too hard to get me out of my head. Like say, you know, I have to be in a social scenario for maybe an hour or 30 minutes before I can finally get out of my head, or instead I can do this technique for 5 minutes, and then now I am in, you know, I'm out of my head, I'm more in my body, I'm more in the present, and I'm just more grateful. Like, then I can go into a social environment, or I can go into even say a meet. Like I recommend you do this before a meeting.
Definitely.
You know, do
in the meeting. So what I love about this technique, it's a superpower because I'm doing it right now. Nobody needs to know. But when you're doing it, if you can feel your feet or feel your back in any situation, you know without any doubt whatsoever that you are more present than you are not. And the more present you are, the more likely you are to say the right things, to pick up the little clues that you're getting off the person you're talking to. That means that you can build a better rapport with them or achieve the result that you want to. So this simple thing is, believe me, is powerful if you keep practicing it. We are now discussing a standalone practice. It's also helpful to know and inspiring to know, I hope, that are many techniques you can use actually in the moment, in the setting. So even when you're in a social setting, you can, you know, still feel your feet or still make a point of looking in the person's eyes. I was watching a video this morning of a kindergarten in America, I believe, and the kids, when at the beginning of the day, now each one shakes hands and looks the other kid in the eye. Little things like this might not seem much, but they are about human connection, and everything, no matter what anybody says, what makes us happy and gives us meaning in life is kind, compassionate communication with another. Connection, I mean. Communication is part of that. Does that make sense? So everything, this is a very short interview, but when we are more in the present, we ought de facto become more connected to everything and everyone else, and we relax.
So, guys, basically to wrap it up, you can refer back to the last video where I give you, I talk about calm and headspace and some of my main mistakes when I first started my meditative practice. What you can take from this is like, look, it's so important to be able to just like push and have that sort of like that reserve in you that can just kind of like push through and make things happen, and you have that sort of, that really aggressive, kind of almost aggressive winner mentality and energy, but also understand that like, I would just challenge you, just think about the last time you really had an important meeting and you focused so much on the right thing to say, and every single time I assume you screwed it up, right? Because every single time we're in our head, I just don't think anything good happens, so having that ability to push when needs to, when it comes to it, but also just being able to like let go, and you're just going to be more resourceful. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. Maggie, thank you so much for coming on and imparting your wisdom. So guys, I will see you in the next module.
تهیه و تنظیم در استدیو بیزرایز.